I've always said our long-term goal is to eliminate the state income tax, which we've been able to do in the 4 years that I've been lieutenant governor. We've lowered it every year, and this year's proposal, we actually have two proposals. One is a more aggressive proposal that eliminates the state income tax for about 70% of the population, and then the other one is just taking it down to about 3.9%, and that's a good thing. Look, I would ultimately like to give everybody a 5% raise across the state, but we've always said that we're not going to do it in 1 year, but we are going to put a plan in place to can responsibly ratchet it down best we can, and that's what the proposal is this year.
It's already in motion. That's what you wanted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Governor Brian Kemp has worked to bring down the state's personal and corporate income tax rate,
Mm-hmm.
and he's asking for it to come down under 5% this year.
Sure.
In his State of the State address, I should say, he said, quote, "This tax cut doesn't promise to pay for itself years down the road or create future budget holes with today's one-time money.
Sure.
Will eliminating the income tax pay for itself down the road and not create budget holes with one-time money?"
Well, that's why you go through the budgetary process every year, Donna, and that's why I've always said we're going to be very responsible about it. Governor Kemp has been a great partner to work with in my 4 years as lieutenant governor, and we have lowered the state income tax every year. We'll do it again this year, and we're planning on getting us to that point of zero. But we've always said we're going to be very responsible with it, and that's why we have the annual budgetary process. And our constitutional obligation is to balance the budget, and we're going to be very responsible. Look, I come from a business background, and I know exactly you always got to be having checks and balances and looking at what your spending is and what you're taking in and all that kind of stuff. That's just common sense approach to things. So we're gonna be fiscally responsible, and we're going to come at it from a common sense point of view.
Are you hearing from people eliminating some of those tax credits, how they feel about it?
Well, yeah, obviously anybody who's a beneficiary of a tax credit, obviously they might have concerns, but we've been doling out tax credits for 2 decades now, and we have over $30 billion in tax credits that have built up. Some of them have been very good for the state. Others are probably just padding a bottom line for some corporation. So I think it's our duty as elected officials to be looking at what is the highest and best use for some of those tax credits, and some of them will go by the wayside and sunset. We appreciate the job they've done, but they're not needed anymore.
Yeah, I want to talk about a bill that you announced earlier this week as a priority during this session, and it's the True Patriotism and Universal Student Access Act. And it's to prioritize legislation that honors the life and legacy of the late Charlie Kirk. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Turning Point USA is an organization that is really a grassroots organization that was started by the late Charlie Kirk. I mean, it really was a movement. It was a movement of really wanting to promote American exceptionalism, wanting to promote Christian values, and I think we need more of that in this country. I think we have too much really anti-American chatter out there when you should be proud of where you're born, and you should be proud of the country that you live in. And Turning Point organization is one that really started a movement with young people on college campuses all across the country. And so we're excited about partnering with them on this legislation and us being the first ones in the country to actually introduce it.
So Georgia will be the first?
Georgia will be the first, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about one of the items in that provides for public school students to engage in political speech and political activities.
Yeah, right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think what with so many times that people want to shut down political speech, especially in Christian-based speech, in a lot of the school systems, and so we don't want it to interfere with classroom work, obviously, but it's just like clubs that you have within the schools. They ought to be able to have a club that talks about American exceptionalism and talks about Christianity and your religious beliefs.
Do you expect some pushback from the school systems?
There probably is. I don't think there's anything we do up here that gets 100% buy-in, Donna, but could be. But we're looking forward to the schools who have invited us to be a part of this rollout.
Let's talk the amended budget. It recently passed in the Senate last week, and one of the things it champions is appropriating $409 million for the construction of a 300-bed mental health services hospital. Tell us why there's such a need here.
Well, I mean, look, there's been a need for quite some time. I mean, all you have to do is talk to any of your sheriffs around the states, and they will tell you that a lot of their jails, local jail systems, have inmates in them that really need more attention than what our local people can provide them. And because there's a lot of mental health issues that are going on in this country, there's a lot of people who need more attention to those mental health situations, and really they're kind of overflowing our jail systems. And so what this hospital system, this mental health hospital system that we put together is really is trying to help out our local sheriffs and law enforcement agencies who have these overcrowding jails that really are not a lot of people who have them. Something I heard when I was in the Senate, that a lot of people that are in there need more mental health professionals than they need just to be locked up and trying to get a deputy or a bailiff to handle them.
You're running for higher office aside,
right.
With it being an election year, though.
Right.
Does it change your role in the Senate or how you approach the job this year?
Not really. I mean, look, I've always been pushing issues that I'm actually running on right now. I've always talked about lowering taxes, whether it's income, property. I've always talked about getting rid of red tape. I've always talked about educational opportunities and also public safety as well. So all these things that I'm doing in the Senate are the same things that I'm running on for governor. And quite frankly, all the people who I'm running against right now, they're trying to run on the same platform that I have, and I've already accomplished most of the things they say they're going to do. So, but it just makes your day a little busier, obviously, when you're sitting here running statewide. Obviously, it's a big state, and then you're also trying to preside over the Senate during the legislative process, which is, as you well know, a very busy time anyway. So it does increase your workload, but look, it is what it is. It'll be over with soon. So I just keep grinding and keep running. So,
what are you most proud of as Lieutenant Governor that you've done during this time?
Well, we've accomplished a lot of things from a common sense conservative aspect that have been talked about around these hallways for a while, whether it was on the educational opportunities with school choice, whether it was on lowering taxes and capping property taxes. We did those things under my tenure, but one of the things that I started that I'm very proud of was with our Family and Children's committee that we started. It focused on DFACS, it focused on foster care, it focused on trying to improve both the foster care system as well as the DFACS system, where all these children who were born into tough situations that they could not control, we need to be more responsible about how we take care of them and try to get them, because it's not just while they're in the system, how they transition out of the system as well. We've passed probably 20 pieces of legislation in the last 3.5 years that focuses on providing educational opportunities for them, providing post-secondary opportunities for them as well, and job opportunities, once they transfer out of the system. So those you see real impacts with that age and on that children and family front. But there's a lot of things to be proud of, but there's still a lot of work to be done.